Everyone's calling themselves an AI expert right now. But the thing is, true AI fluency, it can't be faked. You spend 5 minutes on LinkedIn nowadays and you'll see it. You've got swipe files dressed up as strategy, endless lists of prompts, and people rebranding themselves as AI consultants overnight. That's what we like to call false fluency, and it's the real villain that's choking this market. Because when the pressure's on and those AI consultants really have to perform, those dabblers, they freeze. And if you can't prove fluency, you're not going to get the job, you're not going to get the client, and you're not going to get the future. Welcome to episode 114 of Instant Xpertise Marketing. I'm Yvette Brown. I became an entrepreneur at 23 by starting a promotions agency with my then 29-year-old business partner, Sherry Nomadi, who is unfortunately not with us today, but will be back soon. Without Sherry today, I want to talk about our new Theia Institute Certification, what it is and why it matters, and why it is becoming the filter that separates the dabblers from the truly fluent in this wild AI market. Today, we're going to cover the rise of false fluency. We're going to cover why Theia Institute's third-party scrutiny mattered so much to us. We're going to talk about how certification changes the game for both careers and companies, and why real proven AI fluency is really the new cost of entry in this market. So here's what's up first is I want to talk about where everybody is in the AI fluency space. Right now, everybody is dabbling, right? Everybody, you talk to people and they're like, oh yeah, they're using AI. And in many ways, they think they've got it locked down. But the reality is they don't. Most of them, by far, the great majority of them are only dabbling. They're skimming tools, they're copying templates. They might be posting screenshots of AI outputs, but really without context. And, at the surface, they may look really fluent, and until the market shifts, and then they're going to freeze. What we're seeing is that employers, clients, investors are really already starting to ask, can you prove it? And that's the key. Claims are really worthless without the proof. And a recent study came out from MIT that indicated that 95% of AI pilots inside enterprise organizations are failing to drive ROI. That's a huge issue and one that doesn't need to be the case, but also demonstrates that people are not using AI in ways that are specifically designed to drive business outcomes, because it absolutely can do that. But you have to be fluent. You have to know how to ask it the right questions. So, building that AI fluency is what we have been focusing on over the past couple of years. And so when we first built our 8-week AI fluency course, we thought it was really strong. Like, I'm really proud of it, and I know it can deliver. We guarantee ROI and all those things. Like, it's really amazing. But I have to admit that when we then presented to Theia Institute, which is a nonprofit AI think tank headquartered in Washington, D.C., that focuses on ethics and governance, and we tried to get their endorsement, we had kind of an eye-opening, right? Because in order to earn that, we had to justify every module against measured learning outcomes. We had to tie the assignments that we created to role-specific applications. We always had to weave in ethics and governance throughout all of the lessons. And we had to have a pass-fail rubric that was very clear that would prove competence and not just completion of these courses. So what we found out is that third-party scrutiny really mattered to us. It forced rigor that we wouldn't have demanded of ourselves. And, kind of without it, the course would have just stayed good enough. And with it, though, it has become a certifiable proof of fluency. And I'm really proud to say that we are endorsed by Theia Institute for our training. And we can now offer certified training to anyone who completes our courses and, passes those tests. So when people come in and are a part of any of our 8-week AI training course, AI Foundations training cohort, what they receive is a verifiable certificate as well as LinkedIn badge. Okay. You also, which I'm super excited about, and this is sort of like what came out of the relationship with Theia, is we're also able to offer 6 CPE credits for completing the 8 one-hour sessions, an 8-hour course. And you get this credential that's backed by an independent nonprofit think tank. It's not marketing spin. It's not a pretty certificate that we just put on a PDF and send to you. This is the real deal, and it's something that is going to separate you from the crowd at a time when that really matters in this crazy AI world we're living in. So you might be saying, well, what does it really mean to be AI fluent, and why is that so important? Let me give you a couple examples. So let's say that you're a dabbler marketer. What you're going to do is you're going to copy a template, you're going to paste it into ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever. You're going to tweak it a little bit and send it out. And you're going to be like, that's good enough. Let's go. But when you're certified fluent and you complete something that has rigor behind it, you're going to be able to use AI to first analyze your audience's tone. You're going to build narrative arcs. You're going to make sure that it aligns with your brand voice and all of your assets. You're going to be able to test it across channels, and you're going to be able to adapt outputs to context. You're going to check it for bias. You're going to make sure that if you build this into a GPT, for instance, you're not going to let it drift. You're going to determine on your own what's acceptable and what's not acceptable before you ever let it free out into the world, right? And that's the kind of gap that certification makes visible, right? And this is the kind of gap that the market cares about, right? We don't need folks that are out there just cutting and pasting what's given to them, because that is how we get that sort of mid-grade slop that everybody's worried about. AI generated content that everybody sounds like everyone else because we know that AI is going to use the most viable next word in the process. That's all true. But when you use your expertise and you know how to wield it inside of AI, you get phenomenal results, and you get them quickly, and you have a confidence that it's been bias checked, and that it's on brand, it's on tone, and it's targeted exactly to your audience. With your skills, you have the ability to do that at scale quickly, which you couldn't do before. We were limited by time before. We're really not now. And so, we believe that when you look on the horizon, right, on the, maybe it's 1 year out or so, we're not sure that AI fluency is really going to be the differentiator, but it is going to be the baseline, right? People are going to have to be, not just dabbling. They're not just going to be good enough to be AI literate, right? Meaning, yeah, you can read. They're going to have to be AI fluent. They're really going to have to understand the models well enough to leverage them, to use their expertise, tie in, and really get the output that they're looking for. And if they don't, they're going to know how to fix it, right? And they're also going to know over time that they're going to have to monitor what it's doing and what it's outputting if you're doing workflows and GPTs and things like that. So to get to that next level, have those great productivity gains, you have to go there, but you need to do it understanding the guardrails that you have in place. So today, really the only proof point that you have that you're AI fluent is a certification of some kind, right? For professionals, when you have a certification like this, it means career capital, it means credibility, and it means resilience. And the resilience to me is one of the most important things, is that when you get skilled up now, you really understand what AI is about and how to use it and how it thinks. you're not afraid when the next model comes out, right? You don't panic because we've upgraded from, 4 to 5 and, everything is different. The conversation is elevated, right? Because you've built the foundation to be able to handle whatever comes your way, because technology, those models, they're going to keep changing, right? They're going to keep evolving. They're evolving faster than people are learning. But when you have those foundations, like I said, it's a different conversation. You have a level of confidence that you don't break stride. You get, what matters and what doesn't, and you just keep rolling forward. Now, this is also important for employers, because this means that if you have somebody who's certified AI fluent, it's proof that your team member can integrate AI both responsibly and strategically. And they understand how important both of those things are. And for industries, this kind of sets a new standard for what competency looks like. So, the thing is, we didn't create this certification so that, we would look good or we would have, some sort of like marketing edge. The reality is this isn't about collecting badges. This is about survival, right? The market is about to get louder, messier, and more crowded with self-proclaimed experts. And most of them are going to stall at the intersection and just fade out. But those with a certification from a third-party nonprofit like the Theia Institute, a AI think tank, the people that are writing policies and help driving the big picture of the market, the people that have that are going to move forward with clarity, with credibility, and they're going to have the proof that the rest of the folks can't touch. See, the thing is, AI fluency is the skill, and your certification is the signal. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today. We're so delighted to be able to officially say that our Theia certification is in place. We'd love to show you what we can do to help you get AI fluent. So I'm Yvette Brown. We want you to choose fluency, and we want you to prove it. If you want to find out more about that, visit us at xpromos.com/AI, connect with us on LinkedIn, and we'd be happy to show you what we can do. But until then, thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.